Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another YouTube video. Today we are talking about the new ballistics in Escape from Tarkov coming in patch point 12.12. So I'll be covering all the little images they put up on their social media, being Instagram and Twitter. And on top of that, I asked Nikita a heap of information about or questions about the new ballistics. So I'll add that in too. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. All right, so BSG put up on their socials a heap of images talking about the new ballistics in Escape from Tarkov, and I want to talk about them right now. So previously in Escape from Tarkov, and I've actually complained about this quite a bit, is when you zero your gun or when you go to shoot a rifle, particularly like something like a 5.56 round, it would have a trajectory that would be like very like good up to about 100 meters, and 150 meters it would just drop off. You shoot someone at 300 meters, it would just literally just drop off after no time whatsoever. I'm actually going to move this. I think we could add a bit more. What am I doing? Wrong keyboard. So I'll show you the example for the 5.56 because I think that'll be an easier way to do it. But pretty much what was actually happening was when you shoot someone, you know, at 200 meters, this is a perfect example right here. At 200 meters, it'd be starting a massive drop off. This is in meters. So around the 100 meter mark, it would be of point of aim. And then by 200 meters, you're already hitting 400 mil load, which is like pretty much from the top of someone's chest. If you're shooting, aiming at their throat, you'd be shooting them in their belly button. Maybe even a little bit lower, like in the dick. So this actually gives them a lot more, it gives you a lot more or less drop off at 200 meters. And it doesn't really drop off until 300 meters. Now, personally, this isn't how I would have it in real life. We used to zero our rifles to be good out to 300 meters of point of aim. So you would aim, the trajectory line would actually be from point of aim. You would aim at 100 meters, you'd be hitting 200 mil above, being about here, which if you were aiming at their center of scene mass, you shoot someone in the head. And then once it was coming back down at 300 meters, it'd be a point of aim. So you were pretty much good at shooting at someone all the way to 300 meters. What I want to test out when the new patch comes is zeroing the gun to 300 meters. If this new trajectory line would be good at 200 meters above at 100, and then say closer to I think it goes to about, actually no, oh my god, I'll correct that. At 100 meters it was about 100 mil above, and at 200 meters it was about 200 mil above. It was about that 120 mil at 100, 200 mil at 200, and then it was at point of aim at 300. So that is something I'm going to 100% test during the new patch, because I think that'll be really cool if that is the case. And for my initial guesses are it will be the same, because or it will work like that, because if you look at how flat the round's traveling now, instead of that initial jump and then drop, the round should actually just keep a lower trajectory before it drops. So I think it might actually work out like that, which would be great. So in saying that, there is a bit more information in these graphs than you need to know. So I'll go through each of them, and we'll go from the start. So probably the easiest thing I can explain is something like this. So one of the things I asked Nikita about was, is the damage drop off going to be in the game, or what is this green to red ratio? So for example, this is an action SS round, so this is for your MP oh my god, MP7s. When you shoot someone at range, say 200 meters, it's going to have a bigger drop off of damage and pen. And this is going to be the case with every round pretty much. So your 5.7 round at 300 meters is going to have less pen, less damage, and this is going to go across all the rounds. So if you start shooting someone with a even like a 7.62 by 51, it's actually going to drop off the damage over time, like the further the distance. So it's not going to be so clear cut. Nikita said it's already in the game right now that you shoot someone at further distance, it does less damage and less pen, but it's not anywhere near as much as it is going to be in the upcoming patches. So as you can see here, PSD GCH right now up to 100 meters doesn't really have any damage drop off, but in the new one, it'll have the quite a considerable amount of damage drop off once it gets to the 100 meter mark. So this is like really interesting stuff, because it's actually going to change out how we shoot and what guns we use on which maps based off what the damages is. Because in the previous, you just use, like, you could use an MP5 on shoreline and just spray someone down at 300 meters. And yeah, it might be a bit like hard to aim because you're just spraying like all bullets everywhere, but you can still kill someone perfectly fine. With this, after 100 meters, it looks like the 9mm rounds are going to do a lot less damage. We don't know the exact numbers yet. We'll have to find out, and we'll do some testing for that when the new patch comes. But it's actually going to be quite considerably different by the looks of it. So that's going to be cool. I actually think that's kind of cool. My theories are in real life that as long as the bullet still pens, it should still do a considerable amount of damage. So I hope that when it says like the damage will be reduced as well, it won't be as simple as, you know, like 50% less damage. Because what would actually happen if the bullet still penned and through whatever armor they had or through the skin, majority would still always pen through the skin, this maybe a slug, then it would tumble anyway. So it would hit bones, tumble through the through the body and do a lot more damage. One of the things that the Australian Army used to do back in the Vietnam days is we used to use the SLR, and that was a 7.62 rifle, and then we switched to the F88 Steyr, which is a 5.56. And I don't know how true this is, but there was one of the two of the major reasons that we changed from the SLR to the Steyr when it came to the caliber was the rounds were a lot heavier and more expensive for the 7.62, but the SLR, the 7.62 rounds would always pen straight through in and out the target. So you shoot someone and it would go through and through every single time, and the 5.56 round would actually go into someone and stay in someone, cause a lot more damage to the actual person. I don't know how true all that is, but it was something I was always told when I was in the army, that was the reason why we changed out of the 7.62 rounds. But who knows? Little bit of maybe corporal bullshit, could be not, but in my opinion, it makes sense. As long as it gets in, it will do a lot more damage if it's tumbling through the body, but as long as it still gets through the armor. So now going to each of these rounds. So one of the major things to take note of is how less height it's going to have early on, particularly stuff like pistol rounds. I don't remember ever shooting pistols and the trajectory being really high out of the chamber, but I haven't really done a much bullet theory or trajectory theory with pistols. But with the rifle rounds, there has been a bit of a I do know a fair bit, particularly with the 7.62 and 5.56. So things to note really is the slugs. I'm jumping through these a bit, and I shouldn't really, but the slugs are kind of going to be a lot easier to shoot at ranges, because at the moment in Tarkov, if you shoot a slug at long ranges, it had a really massive drop off. So slugs are actually going to be a little bit better, which is sweet. They didn't show anything about buckshot and how much the buckshot are going to reduce, but it'd be cool to see the spread on that. I thought this one was a very interesting one, the SP6. So this is the AS Val. When you shoot an AS Val at the moment, it shoots really high. It was like if you're using the OKP6 sight, which is the one that kind of mounts the straps to the side of it, and it's got like a little line with a little arrow going up. You aim this one, and I always felt like if you were shooting someone at close range, it just kind of like shot above them if they were really close, and then it had like a really rapid drop off. It's actually kind of nice to see that there's going to be a considerable drop in the trajectory for the height, and then yeah, it kind of more even out over the 100 meters, and then it has the big drop off. So it's good to see that. For the rest of the rounds, besides maybe the pistol rounds, there isn't a huge difference, but it is a big difference to being better. I really do want to test out the damage drop-offs and all that over the distances, but in my opinion, the flatter the rounds over the longer distances is actually going to be kind of nice, because you're not going to hit high when you think you're going to hit them in the head at close range, and you just go above them or anything like that. That's going to be fixed up because they were kind of running a little bit high, and the over the further distance, you're not going to be aiming. It always it was mind-boggling to me that if someone was at like 200 meters, I would be aiming like considerably above their head to hit the shot, whereas like that would never be the case in real life. And with say something like a 5.56 round, or even an AK round, 7.62 by 39, or the 51s, like at 200 meters, 300 meters, 400 meters, it was always like aiming massively above head. With zeroing, hopefully this will change. and you can just literally zero it out to maybe 200 at the start or 100 at the start, and you'll be able to just aim center and mass all the way up to 200 or 300 meters. I think it's going to make it sniping a lot better. Like, where's the 7.62 by 51 and 54? I don't like the idea that there's actually going to be drop off at 300 meters. These bullets move friggin' fast and they're large. These should still do a lot of damage, but this should be a lot easier to snipe. And I think most times you shoot someone in Escape from Tarkov, they're under 200 meters when you're shooting at longer ranges. You won't be shooting many people at 400 plus. So as long as at 300 meters, there's not much drop off. Like if you consider this with the, this is the Mosin round. So you'd be using this as an SVD or SV98, 400 mil down. So if you're aiming at the throat, you'd probably shoot him in the belly button or the dick at 300 meters. So that's fairly decent. Whereas in the past, like, so if you aim at head, you should hit him in the chest, and that should be pretty much good all the way up to 300. I'm interested in changing the zeroing up to 200 and 300 and seeing what difference it makes. I might always default at 200 meters zeroing if I'm on any map besides, say, factory or labs. And I think this could actually be really, really cool. I've waffled on long enough, but it looks like the patch isn't too far away. If you haven't already subscribed to this video, I would appreciate it if you did. There's about 40% of you guys that watch my videos are subscribed. So 6% of you guys aren't, and I would really appreciate it if you smack the subscribe button. It really doesn't cost anything, and it helps us get towards that 1 million goal. And yeah, helps out a lot with that. If you like the video, make sure you like and comment for the YouTube algorithm, and do appreciate that as well. I'm filming this live on Twitch. I stream on Twitch pretty much every day of the week. When the new patch comes out, I'm going to be doing a lot of shenanigans. I've got a lot of fun stuff getting planned. So hopefully you guys will be hyped up for that. If you haven't come and checked out my Twitch channel, please do. The link down below. Besides that, guys, lastly, I'll see you next time.